Hello and happy full lunar eclipse Virgo moon. A lot going on with this moon and a lot of energies that are going into it. This full moon is at the end of our eclipse portal, signaling the closing of this portal. The full moon in Virgo is our last opportunity to cut and edit and rewrite a script. The three energies of this full moon is that, of course, of the eclipse, which helps us make very large changes to our lives. This helps us, shift timelines. This helps us make very large changes to our lives. Sometimes we don't like to make those changes, so the universe does them for us, which can also give this eclipse portal kind of a very intimidating energy. We also have, of course, full moon energy. And full moon energy is all about illuminating what we want to see for ourselves, right? So all of our manifestations for the past 6 months, what has come to light? What is true now? The full moon helps us look at that. And last, we have Virgo. Virgo is a mutable earth sign that's ruled by Mercury. And like its cousin Gemini, who is also a mutable sign ruled by Mercury, it is quick moving and it is also able to do multiple calculations at once and see things from multiple different angles. With these three energies combined, we have the perfect opportunity to cut, edit, and rewrite what is no longer serving us. So we have Virgo, who is like someone who likes to work with bonsai, very precise at cutting, very meticulous, has like a perfectionist energy to it sometimes. And the eclipse brings this to such a larger scale. So now imagine that it's like somebody who does tree work, right? So the eclipse provides us with that scaffolding and that safety equipment and the things that we need to do to chop off these large limbs that, potentially could be dangerous in the future, or again, not growing the right way, or have disease or something of that nature. So again, very, very big changes happening right now with this full moon. But again, this is not the time to manifest your future. This is the time to sit and think about what's not working for you, what needs to be cut out. My last tip for the full moon in Virgo is going to be careful of perfection paralysis. Be careful of being so meticulous that you're not really moving or cutting things out. You're just planning, right? Like, this is the moon to cut it out, to cut, like, disease keeps coming to mind, to just cut out things that just aren't working with us, or things that are poisoning us. It's time to cut them out so we're no longer being hurt by them. As always, I have our collective card pool. So first out, we have the Emperor card, which I swear we've had this card recently before. And the Emperor this time around feels a lot more red and angry and seems to be sitting, higher on a, kind of the top of the pyramid, if you will, and just kind of looking down. And so this is kind of the energy I feel like that we are really, really recognizing of, oppression. Like people that aren't used to being oppressed are really feeling it, as well as people who are used to oppression. They're like, okay, this is the same kind of intense energy that I'm used to, but it's on such a larger scale this time around. And it just feels kind of gross. So I also have, that came out with this card, is the Hermit card. And I actually don't want to talk about the Hermit card in this deck because I want to bring to light, in the traditional deck, we have the Emperor and we have the Hermit. Both are kind of older men with long white beards, and this really feels like the energy of like a spectrum that we're kind of going through, where we have this energy of, Aries and Mars, and just kind of like getting things, domineering, like having all the control, all the power. And then we have the Hermit who does things by himself. Like hermits typically live alone and they live with nature and they have their little garden and they don't see anybody. So these are two ends of just a really intense spectrum that we are in right now as a society, where I feel like we're being completely isolated or we're being completely controlled or controlling, depending on if you identify yourself as the Emperor or as the Hermit. And what we need is a mix in the middle. Everybody's going to identify with a different piece of this. And if we are feeling really controlling and domineering, we need to step into working with ourselves first, kind of looking in that mirror and kind of making sure, like, am I, clean up your house first before you judge somebody else's house, kind of a situation. Like, clean up what's going on with you before you're able to come out and start really judging people on their situations. So again, just this huge spectrum that's really kind of happening. And again, it feels like just the need to really turn into ourselves this time around and really feel like, working on our own first, and then our kind of local communities. And these people will lose more power the more that we empower ourselves and turn into ourselves and tend to our own gardens and tend to our own communities. You're not giving as much power to the people at the top of the pyramid. Next out, I have the Princess of Swords. And this feels like a really beautiful energy of this kind of spiritual enlightenment that's going on right now. And, this is like a princess card, so it is kind of the beginning of this journey. And I see this kind of ray of light, coming out of the sword, which swords is like about thoughts. And we have this just beautiful energy of people just shifting their mindset and being like, wait a minute, like this is no longer working for me, or this is no longer working for me. I need to get out. I need to be out in my community, and I need to be with others and like-minded individuals. And I'm tired of living under this scary man or scary people, and having to listen to all of their rules or everything that they say. I have my own thoughts and I have my own opinions, and I want to share them with my community because I have good ideas. So next I drew some animal cards to help us during this time. And two of those cards were water creatures. And I know both of these creatures also traverse land as well. But we have two creatures that come from the water because you're the fire horse. You know, we're about to hit Aries season. It's about to be springtime. All of this fire energy. And we need to have some water to temper this fire. So first up, we have the turtle. And the turtle is about grounding and kind of ancient knowing and taking things slow. You know, have you seen a turtle swim in the water? It's very slow and they take their time. They do what they need to do, and kind of very similar to that hermit energy, and just kind of keep to themselves. And then we have the otter, which is like such a different water energy. Otters are social creatures. They're silly. This is reminding us to bring joy and fun into what we do, and to choose joy and to choose fun and to choose love. And again, otters have very large communities, unlike turtles. I mean, they, you know, rest in the sun together, but is that a community? I don't know. But otters for sure, they love to be with each other, and you can tell they love each other because they're always grooming each other and they're hugging each other, and you know, just very affectionate little creatures, but also so much fun. The next animal I have is hawk. And this is an animal that has been with me for, I would say, a while, and definitely a predominant energy for me this year. And with the energy of the hawk, this is reminding us to zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. So when you think about tempering a fire, you need to get a large view of that. You need to zoom out and you need to see what areas are at risk and what areas are going to be burnt. And so that way you can let people on the ground know that this is in danger. This is a problem. But with taking in all of this knowledge all of the time and getting these kind of bigger perspectives can sometimes leave us to be paranoid. So be sure that you're also tempering your mind and making sure you're not taking in too much information, because that's going to just blur your view of things. Last up, we have some self-care cards. First, we have Dream Journal. And Dream Journal came out because it is Pisces season. And Pisces is the dreamer. Pisces is going to give us some very weird dreams right now. You know, just coming out of eclipse season, that probably also brought some weird dreams. And write them down. What is your subconscious trying to tell you? Like, what's trying to come out and come through you at this time? Next, we have Make a Meal. And for this, I got this visual of, you know, we're transitioning currently from wintertime to springtime. And I got this vision of just kind of this blah, like gray soup. Like everything's kind of like gray. And it's, you know, some areas it's still snowing. Some areas it's just blah, whatever. You know, we do have our days of sunshine, but this is that transition to stop ordering your DoorDash and start ordering some fresh veggies in your life. And, you know, season's changing, so produce is coming out again. Local produce is, you know, available. And this is the time to really make your plate really colorful and get away from the soft, mushy foods. Lastly, we have Ground Yourself. And again, this goes with the turtle energy. This goes with the hermit energy. This is getting in touch with yourself so you can show up the best you can. So people can recognize you for your best self, and they can in turn show up as their best and most authentic self as well. So Happy full moon in Virgo. Happy eclipse season coming to an end. And I will see you all next time. Bye.